The Loretta Young Show.
Hello. It's generally believed that one of the touchiest subjects to a woman is her age. When she's younger, she wants to be older. And when she's older, she wants to be younger. Now, it's our contention that this is not always just foolish pride. The lady in our story tonight is about to tell us some of her most intimate thoughts.
Something was wrong. Maybe it was spring fever, or maybe I was just tired from all the interviews to select temporary salespeople for the annual spring clearance. But I felt strangely restless and at loose ends. So I decided to leave the office a bit earlier than usual and stop off at the drugstore for a free look at the glamour magazines. Now, in order to understand the full significance of what happened next, it is necessary to know only one thing about me. I'm plain, painfully plain. And my kind of plainness can't be transformed by a new shade of lipstick. I act plain. I have acted plain ever since I was old enough to look into a mirror and evaluate what I saw. I said I was plain. I guess some people might call me ugly, but I had settled for plain. My eyes are slate gray, alas, not enormous, with violet lights in their depths. But with mechanical aid, I can see. My nose, simply a nose, useful for breathing, nothing more. And to complete the inventory, I have a mouth, such as it is. My hair is, and always has been, straight as a poker. And of course, I'm awfully tall. I was 5'8" by the time I was 12 years old. I remember when I was 14, my mother thought if I'd developed some grace, I might gain self-confidence. Fred Albright was the only boy who ever actually came up to me and asked me to dance. He was written off by the rest of the school because he always had his head buried in some scientific book. Everybody called him Spook. He was 6'2" when he was 14 and still growing. Unfortunately, he didn't know how to handle his height, and he stumbled all over his own feet when he wasn't stumbling over mine. I guess you won't be at all surprised to learn that last week I turned 30, and I'm still single. And to tell you the truth, I really don't feel very bad about it. I think that by the time I was 20, I had pretty well written myself off as an old maid anyway. My family, of course, did its best to help, and particularly my sister Elizabeth and her husband Bill.
I'll help. You do no such thing. You get right back in there and entertain the boys.
The boys are very happy mooning over sports cars.
Well, you about face and moon over sports cars with them.
I can't. I hate sports cars. They don't fit me. Well, I mean, I don't fit them. I'll stay here.
Honey, Bill invited Arnold home this afternoon, especially for you.
I know that. And so does Arnold. Liz, please stop trying to fix me up with dates, will you? It's too embarrassing for everybody.
Well, honey, all you have to do is relax and talk to them.
Relax. Well, that's easy enough for you to say. You're pretty. You're so pretty that you almost glow at times. But me, I glow about as much as a burned-out light bulb.
Look, honey, I'm not really pretty.
You're not?
No, I'll tell you a secret. What? I feel pretty.
Then that's it. I feel plain.
I have told you 1,000 times you don't have to. If you just try a little, if you just shine a little.
Shine? Got any steel wool around here?
Now, you make too many jokes. That's your trouble.
Would you rather I go on weeping about it?
Well, honey, don't you want to get married?
Sure, I want to get married.
It's not all a dish pan hands, you know.
Oh, I know that, Liz. Liz, this isn't a society where a woman can go out and say, I want love, a husband, home, children. Well, that is, a plain woman can't. Now, a beauty, she can be as frank as she likes. But an old maid?
You
no.
are not an old maid. Not yet. As Grandma used to say, where there's life, there's hope.
Despite Grandma's old adages, I have had my 30th birthday. I have passed the great divide.
Oh, Mabel.
Oh, honey, I wish you'd stop worrying about me. I'm happy. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Arnold will hear you.
Not that dead one.
You see, I had faced it squarely that I was a born old maid. And, not feeling too badly about it, I was off to the drugstore.
Hello, Billy.
Hi. Usual, Miss MacAfee?
Yes, please.
Mabel MacAfee. Beanpole.
Smoke! Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Fred Albright.
Right.
Well, for heaven's
You have grown.
Oh, so have you. Well, let me look at you. Oh, my goodness, I see you lost your cowlick.
Yeah, the hard way. It came out.
Oh, no.
Well, say, have you got a minute?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we sit down over there?
Oh, sure, I'd love to.
Okay.
Billy, I'll be over in the booth.
Okay.
Well, imagine running into you. I can't... Oh.
I'm sorry. Did I hurt you?
No, that's all right. Say, you remember Miss Catherine's dancing school?
Oh, I sure do. You know, I always remembered you because you never got mad when I stepped on your feet.
Oh.
I thought you were the most tactful girl I knew.
Well, I should have got my big clodhoppers out of your way. I guess we just grew up too fast, huh?
I grew 7 inches the year I was walking on your feet.
Oh, how awful. I never did more than 4 inches in 1 year.
Well, that's a lot. Sure.
Tell me, were you tired all the time?
Exhausted.
So was I.
There you are, Mabel.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mind if I smoke?
No, go right ahead.
Mabel MacAfee.
Wow. I haven't seen you around here. Have you been away?
Oh, yeah, since 44.
Oh.
The Navy, then Caltech,
Uh-huh.
and then they tagged me again, you know, Korea, then back to Caltech, and I figured as long as the government was paying for it, I might as well get my doctorate.
You mean you're Dr. Albright?
Well, not the kind with the pills, a PhD.
Why, Fred, I just think that's wonderful.
Hey, Beanpole, you're not supposed to be impressed.
Tell me, what kind of a PhD are you?
Chemistry.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you were always good at that, weren't you?
Well, I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are you doing now exactly?
Well, right now I'm working in synthetics.
Oh, no.
What's the matter?
Well, I have a thing about synthetics. You might say I'm allergic to them psychologically.
Now, explain this thing about synthetics.
Well, I guess it started with Liz.
Oh, your sister.
That's right.
Wasn't she younger?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she's married now.
Married?
Yeah, she has been for years. And her husband, Bill, well, they have a nice little house out in the suburbs. Anyway, they have 5 children.
5?
Wonderful kids. And people are always giving them synthetic toys.
Mm-hmm.
And the toys break, and the kids get blamed, and Liz hates them. The toys, I mean, not the kids.
Oh.
I just don't like substitutes. At all. I mean, if a thing looks like wood, I want it to be wood. And if it looks like glass, like this, for instance, I want it to look like glass. So,
Now, wait, let me explain it to you. Now, synthetics are not necessarily imitations.
Yeah,
Well,
but...
now, wait. I'll show you something.
Oh, what are you going to do, blow up City Hall?
No. I just want to show you something.
Oh.
Now, there's something a child won't ever be blamed for breaking. It's indestructible.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
It's ugly as sin. Oh, did you design it?
Yes,
oh,
I
I'm
do.
sorry,
Well,
I didn't mean...
That's all right. This is just a test model. And it's designed to have many points of stress in here where it might break if it's going to, see. Now, watch this. You do it. Hard.
Ow.
Did you hurt yourself?
Oh, no, not
Well,
really.
see? It's strong and not a scratch on it. Now, drop it on the floor.
You mean it?
Go ahead. Go ahead, it's all right.
Oh,
See that?
say.
Good as new.
Yeah.
I call it eternal light.
Oh. Well, it is stronger than it looks, all right. And I like that name, Eternal Light. If it really is unbreakable, is it?
Oh, look now. I've burned this with matches.
Uh-huh.
I've baked it in the oven. I've frozen it. And in spite of all those extremes of temperatures, it still isn't broken. I've pounded it with a hammer, and I've even tried to saw it.
Gosh. You ought to give it an actual test.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if it's a toy, then you'll let some kids play with it.
All right. Where does your sister and her 5 children live?
Have you got a car outside, Spook?
I sure do.
Well, just follow me.
Oh, that poor turtle.
Liz and Bill managed to conceal their surprise at the sight of me accompanied by a man. I introduced Fred, and when he explained about his indestructible toy, I could see by the twinkle in Liz's eye that she shared my doubts. But Bill...
It's hard to tell about these synthetic things. Well, fellas, I guess you're the judges. Mr. Albright wants you to test it.
Test it. Just play with it, honey.
You know, have fun.
Yeah, give it a rough time.
Let's kill it.
They'll give you a test, all right.
I'll bet they will, too.
Bill, why don't you make us a drink and Mabel and I'll fix us some dinner?
Hey, it's a good idea.
Come on, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, you can stay, can't you, Fred?
Oh, I wouldn't want to impose.
Oh, it's no imposition to have you for potluck, especially with Mabel to help. She's just marvelous in the kitchen. You're not expected home. I mean, you're not married, are you?
Oh, no. No, I'm not.
You know, when people get married too young these days... Honey, I like your beau. Huh? He's intelligent, he's attractive, and single.
Oh, Desi's not my beau. Goodness, he's not interested in me. He's only interested in his indestructible turtle. Now, the only reason he came out here at all was so the children could test it.
See, it may be that way now. But as Grandma used to say, in spring, a young man's fancy lightly turns to thoughts of love.
Well, it's obvious that Grandma lived in an era of romance. In this case, the young man's fancy is strictly on synthetics.
Mabel, can you see it all without those glasses?
Not at all.
Well, put some lipstick on.
You just never give up, do you? Fred fitted in just like a friend of long standing, and I relaxed and enjoyed myself, especially as I didn't have to say much.
I remember when I was about 7 years old. My father gave me a toy dump truck.
You too?
Yeah. It was made out of steel, and I'll bet it weighed 20 pounds. And you know what? I've still got it.
Oh, Mabel, maybe Fred would like some more coffee.
Oh, no, thanks. I'm fine.
Sure.
Now, if I'm lucky enough to have sons of my own someday, not only will they be able to play with it, but I'll wager it'll be just as good a toy when they have their sons.
My old fire engine's about the only toy that's lasted through my 2 boys.
Sure. I'll bet that truck cost my dad only about $6. Now, do you know what a toy of equal quality and workmanship would cost today?
Oh, a fortune.
Oh, gee.
Don't you think so, Mabel?
$22. Wholesale. Sure. Now, the way I figure, it could be molded out of indestructible synthetic for only about $4.50.
You know, I like the idea of a scientist trying to invent something that won't break rather than exerting all that mental power on how to destroy things. Don't you, honey?
Hey, mister, it broke.
Broke. Huh, not even at a point of stress. What were you doing when it broke? I mean, how did it happen?
Well, it's all right, honey. Nobody's mad at you. Least of all, Mr. Albright. He's trying to make toys that won't break.
Yes, and before I can make any more, I've got to know why this one broke, see?
I don't know why. We were just playing.
Yeah, but how were you playing? Were you pounding the turtle or dropping it or what?
We were just running over it with our coaster wagon.
I see. Just the sort of thing that would naturally happen to a turtle.
He stood looking at Billy for a moment, and then he smiled that smile of his that makes you think he knows a terrific joke on himself. And I felt absolutely awful at the sight of it. Something inside of me started twisting and twisting. Fred, would you like to go now?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Of course not. I'll just get my things.
Oh, gee, it's a shame you have to leave so early.
Thanks,
Well,
Bill, for the use of the testing ground.
Okay.
Anytime, kid. Anytime.
Thanks, Liz, for a
Bye,
very
Bill.
nice
Oh, we
evening.
certainly will, Fred, and do come again
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, dear.
Bye, Billy. Eternal light.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fred. I'm just awfully sorry.
I don't know why. If my synthetic isn't indestructible, I'd better find it out now before I put any Eternal Light toys on the market.
I guess so.
Beanpole?
What?
Don't look so sad. It was my turtle.
Well, I know, but...
Oh, come on.
6 weeks passed, and not a further word did I hear from Fred. But things had changed. I seemed no longer docilely resigned to being a hopeless spinster. I found that although it may be possible to get used to the idea that you aren't attractive to men in general, it is something else again to get used to the idea that you don't appeal to one particular man. And then I thought about Fred, and how he looked standing there with the 2 pieces of his Eternal Light toy in his hands, holding his shattered hopes before him. And how he had fitted in that evening at Liz and Bill's just as if he belonged there. And I realized I'd done a very concentrated job of observing him one time in 13 years. And I kept telling myself I'd better stop daydreaming about a man I wouldn't see again for another 13 years, if ever. For more than 6 weeks, I kept telling myself this. Personnel, Miss MacAfee.
Hi, Beanpole.
Hello, Fred.
I just called your sister to get your business phone number, and she said to bring you out there tonight for supper. Would you like that?
I can't think of anything I'd like better.
Good. 5 o'clock then?
Yeah. Would you mind picking me up here at the office?
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Spook.
See you then.
Yeah. What are you waiting around for, girls?
Nothing. Good night, Mabel.
Good night.
Good night, Miss MacAfee.
Good night, Susie.
Oh, excuse me. Hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, Fred, that's Miss Smith and Miss Eyes. This is Mr. Albright.
Hi.
How do you do? Well, how have you been?
Busy. Been working on a new model.
Oh. Oh, how silly I've been. I should have known why he called. He wanted to test his Eternal Light again. And I'd let myself believe that he wanted to spend the evening with me. Oh, well.
Just rigid enough, but not too brittle. Now, what's this? Not a scratch.
That's wonderful.
Would you like to make a small bet that those nieces and nephews of yours can wreak no havoc with this turtle?
Oh, Fred, that's not fair to ask me to bet against your skill.
You are a woman with honey in her mouth.
Oh, I'm not trying to flatter you. I mean it.
That's why it's honey. Come on, to the proving ground.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Fred fitted in with the family just as easily as he had the first time. And when Liz asked him how he'd like to squire me to the Saturday dance at the club, he said he'd love to. And then he looked at me and grinned like we had a private joke. I knew he was remembering the dances at Miss Catherine's and laughing at how awkward we both were. And I thought how much he'd changed. He looked so all of a piece, organized now, as if he knew just where he was going. It was a wonderful evening. And the best part of it was that the children couldn't make a dent in that turtle. Oh, well, of course. Ow! A few days later, Liz reported that Fred had brought around an Eternal Light fire truck. A week or so after the dance, Fred and I delivered a doll to the mercy of the testing grounds. The following Saturday afternoon, Fred and I drove out to check up on the condition of the Eternal Light toys, and the report was great.
Put your stuff right down there, honey.
Thanks.
Fred, my boy, Operation Eternal Light is an unqualified success.
Oh, that's great, Bill.
Come into the rumpus room and see for yourself.
Oh, boys, come here. Now, I think we should all get together tonight and have a great, big, wonderful celebration.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. Not tonight, anyway. Got a date.
Important?
Yep, with my girl. Well, come on, Bill. Let's go and look at those toys. I can't stay very long.
Honey, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I know how you feel.
don't be silly, Liz. My goodness, I told you from the very beginning. Fred and I are just good friends, that's all. Well, seems to me Grandma must have had something to say about people like you who jump to conclusions.
Don't you really care?
No, of course not.
Care. I could have died. But I had some pride. I couldn't let it show. I told myself that nothing had changed. That things are easier to take once you accept them and stop fighting. And then Fred came back into the room. And I knew that nothing would ever be the same again.
See what I mean?
Oh,
See what I mean?
I'm delighted.
Indestructible.
That really clinches it for me, you know. Well, let's travel.
Yeah. Yes, well, I got to be getting home anyway.
Well, now, honey,
Bill,
call me. We'll have
thank
lunch
you.
down.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, I will.
Come back anytime, will you?
Liz, thank you very
Oh,
much.
just wonderful.
Bye.
Come again real soon.
Will do.
Goodbye, sweetheart.
Goodbye.
I'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, Bill.
So long, fellas.
Bye.
I'm awfully happy for you, Fred. Just think how grateful parents are going to be to you. No more broken toys almost as soon as they're bought. No more children getting blamed for something that's not their fault. I sure am happy for you.
Tell me something.
Huh?
You still feel about synthetics the way you did?
Oh, no. Heavens, no.
Oh, good.
You changed all that.
Fine. You know what I'd like to do next?
No, what?
I'd like to combine two very complex substances.
Mm-hmm.
You and me. I think we'd make a very solid combination.
You just proposed to me.
Yes, I did.
But why? I mean, I'm not even pretty.
No, I suppose you're not. Does it matter?
I always thought it did.
You want to know something? To me, you are beautiful.
Oh, Fred.
No, I mean it. You are.
Oh, now you ought to have your glasses, James.
No,
Heavens.
I don't mean through these things. No, you know, beauty is not a surface quality. You know what it is? It's a woman looking at you as if her heart would break when something that you set your heart on has gone wrong. The way you looked at me. You know what else? It's somebody very happy to see you after you've neglected to call her for weeks. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
You're wonderful. No stupid reproaches when your work has to come first. Do you understand? Good.
I stared ahead into the apricot-colored evening, and I tried to identify the unfamiliar sensations which were overwhelming me. I felt an odd breathlessness, a delicious awareness of my entire self, a sudden, intoxicating wave of self-confidence and power.
You know, if I can find a place to park, I'm going to kiss you.
There's a turnoff just beyond those billboards up ahead.
Oh, there's going to be such a crash of glass.
This is from the book of Proverbs. A gracious woman shall always find her glory. Well, good night. See you next week.
Visit us again next week, same time, same station.